What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today seems like it has been a really long time since I was able to put any Alliance War gameplay footage out for you, so I'm really excited to finally be able to kind of get back into the swing of things. I got through a week of Alliance questing, and we just finished up this Alliance War about an hour ago. And hopefully, it's Friday night, my time, it's about 11 o'clock right now. Hopefully I can get this done, edited, and up on the channel tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, for you guys to enjoy before you start your weekend. So, without further ado, let's get into this thing. Now, in the past, my Alliance War offensive roster was always Scarlet Witch, Captain America World War II, and Daredevil, which I ran Daredevil for the unblockable S2 node, which I always took out. But for this Alliance War, I actually have been moved from the right side over to the left side. And I knew I wanted to bring Winter Soldier. I knew I wanted to bring Vision. I was kind of debating on whether to bring Star-Lord, Captain America, or X-23. And X-23 is one of my favorite champs right now. I've had her for a while at 550. But she's a lot of fun to play. She does a ton of damage, which I don't really get the opportunity to kind of spotlight her in this Alliance War. It's not my best Alliance War that I've ever run. It's kind of a tale of two halves. The first couple of fights go really well. Then the second half is the following day, and I just wasn't quite on my game. Not to spoil anything, but you'll see what I mean. I have really been anticipating waiting to be able to use Winter Soldier here in Alliance Wars. And before I get too far into the fight, this is a stun immune node. I do take quite a bit of time to read each of the nodes as I come to them, just because I am very unfamiliar with the nodes on the left side. It's been really since Alliance Wars came out that I've run the left side, so I'm happy to see a change. If for no other reason, then it kind of forces me to learn the other half of the map, which is kind of better for everybody in my commentary. But again, this is the stun immune node. This is my Nemesis Ultron. If you've watched any of my other Alliance War videos, you'll know that for whatever reason, he always seems to tag me a couple times during Alliance Wars. But thankfully, this Winter Soldier is just absolutely tearing through him. I don't know if it's because he is a 5-star at rank 4 that I'm so impressed with him, but his ability to power drain without using a special is really impressive, and it really kind of shines through in the Alliance Wars. But that was, I think, what, 47 hits, and I blew through that Ultron. Didn't take any damage. I think my Winter Soldier has got 23, maybe just shy of 24,000 health, and my intention was not necessarily to keep him here at rank 4, just to do some testing and then take my Rhino back up for prestige. But I'm absolutely loving him. I'm not sure that I'm going to make the switch back. This here is the poison node, which, both sides of, this poison node, and then kind of the mirrored side with the bleed node. This is almost always Electro, which is why I brought in the Vision here. But to be honest, Vision is... he was a really good option before for Alliance Wars, but he's really good now because they did a ninja buff to him. They didn't really list it, but his special one you saw there, that hit for 2,000, that never ever hit for over 1,000 before. So not only are you getting the power drain, but he's doing quite a bit more damage. Typically when I take down Electro on the bleed node on the other side, I would be below half health using Vision, just from the static shock that you pick up. But now that his specials are, not that they're hitting really hard, but for Vision they're hitting a lot harder. He's a really good option. This node here, really the only thing you need to be aware of is the Infinity Blast, which I was kind of anticipating that this was going to be a Nightcrawler, and I should have realized that the Infinity Blast was going to hit me pretty hard. But you'll see there at the beginning I took, I think that was like 5,600 damage, which is really quite a bit. Nightcrawler does not, and I probably shouldn't jinx myself by saying this, but he does not scare me nearly as much as he used to. If you are able to push him into that swashbuckling mode, which is really fairly easy to do, it's just really, it's an easy fight as long as he's on a if it's a stun immune node, it's a different story, but nodes like this, you can just tear right through him. You'll notice there that I got probably, I think it was 2 or 3 power drains, like back to back there, and there's just nothing he can do. I mean, there's another power drain there. He's just absolutely backed into a corner, and hit him with the special one. Dead. 48 hits. Really, the only damage I took there was just some minor parry damage, but really all 5,600 damage came there at the very beginning with Infinity Blast. So at this point, I've got one more energy, and I am feeling pretty good. Going to go ahead and try to get this last fight squeezed in before I go to bed. I think it was about 2 a.m. at this point. But this node, I don't know what it was about it. Having a bleed immune champ like Ultron, I'll just say, didn't cross my mind on this node. So I'm thinking for sure this is going to be a great opportunity to kind of showcase X-23 and kind of the insane damage that she can pour on people. And of course, it is my nemesis, which, you know, at this point I shouldn't be surprised. I should just expect to see him on every other node, which now that everybody's got their rank down tickets, I'm sure if they didn't have Ultron at 550, now everybody has him at 550. So I'm just going to be running into more of him. But ultimately, I mean, this really kind of does spotlight the fact that X-23, even though she is, you know, obviously a bleed champion built around bleed damage, she's one of the few characters, and I mean, I can't even think of another one off the top of my head, that when you run against characters who are bleed immune, you still have a workaround there by being able to get, you know, the damage buff to your crit, kind of in the place of where a bleed would be. And ultimately, I mean, when you are kind of pushing the fight on the offensive, you know, getting several combos in, it's not that difficult really to have, you know, 3, 4, 5 stacks on consistently. Obviously, they do drop off fairly quickly when you're trying to bait out specials. And right there, I don't know what it is. He just always manages to get me. I kind of was anticipating probably getting clipped at some point, so I wasn't using any of my specials. That way, when I was needing to get the health regen, I would be getting the maximum amount. Which really, I mean, I'm getting 158 back, and that's, I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. I don't know why, as a community, and I'm kind of guilty of this myself. We always say, you know, X-23's got better bleeds, Wolverine's got the better regen, which is true. But X-23 does not have a bad regen. I mean, especially now, ticking at 158. I mean, that's like basically what you get back. You know, per hit from Doctor Strange, and you get a whole lot more of it back with X-23. Anyway, this is the next morning. This node right here, I really wasn't sure where I was supposed to go, so this was a link node, so I went ahead and went over to it. But this is a special 1 unblockable with a special 1 bias, and in my mind, Cable was the first kind of character that came to my mind, because I really had never run this before, and it was Agent Venom, which, to be honest, yes, he just got a full special 1 back just from the block damage that I was taking, and I had never really considered Agent Venom for this node. I don't know what the number is. You should go look it up. If your alliance is kind of trying to figure out a good character to put on this node, Agent Venom is a really, really good choice. He would have been a just a massive pain if I would have been you know, a character who could take bleeds, or a character who's not able to as easily control the amount of power that he's getting back, which ultimately I think I screwed up here by only using my special 1, because that just kept pushing him down to his special 1 and just kind of kept this mad cycle going on. If I would have been just a little more patient and went ahead and pushed to my special 2 and drained him all the way down, I think I would have been able to control the fight a little better. And then there you saw him shrug off my stun, which I forgot he had, and I forgot he had it again. And yeah, that was really, really close. I should have gone back and checked to see how much health I had left, but you could not even see any health on my bar. There was probably like, I don't know, less than 50 health on my carry. In fact, I'm looking at it right now. I can hardly even see any red health left there. But this is kind of where it, I don't want to say it goes downhill, but it's just, it's not what it should be. I played much better the night before than I did during this set of fights here coming up. So on this armor up node, I was fully expecting this to be either like a Rhino, Juggernaut, or Black Panther, and was hoping it was going to be Black Panther, and it is, but I just could not get into a groove in this fight. He was really, really aggressive, and I just could not get my parries lined up. which I'm not trying to make any excuse for myself, but yeah, he takes me out fairly easily, which I don't want to in any way edit these to make myself look like some god tier champ, because I am anything, I'm far from that. I'm just a normal player who's been playing for a while, but I screw up just as much as anybody else does. And for whatever reason, the same thing kind of carried over into the beginning of this fight. I think I was a little bit over aggressive trying to compensate for the fact that I screwed up so bad in the last fight. But Black Panther, the Civil War, I always want to call him Civil Warrior. Black Panther Civil War is he's fairly easy to beat if you're just patient. Don't forget that you can't parry him while he's got that armor up, and just bait out his specials. You'll be fine. One of the biggest things here, and I feel like this entire Alliance War gameplay is just like a show and a display for Winter Soldier. But that S2 it's legit. That was the armor. Was that the armor? Yeah, armor piercing round. So it didn't really do any sort of extra bleed, but it kind of pushed through his armor ups and kind of did the max damage that I could do. The thing to keep in mind here is that really any of the ammo types are fine. If you're running an Alliance quest or some special event that's a lot longer, I probably would make getting, the correct ammo type a bigger priority. But in these Alliance wars, that just aren't that many hits, I'm not sure that it's worth taking the time and risking taking extra damage, trying to hold back, evade back and block, trying to switch ammo types. And then, of course, it wouldn't be a true Alliance war if you didn't run into a Thorns node. I thought they decreased the number of Thorns nodes, but I think there's either 4 or 5 nodes still on the map that have Thorns. So I'm not really sure what they were talking about. If it was, I didn't go back and read the patch notes or anything. Maybe it's just for some of the lower tiers that they took them out. But they're still as big of a pain as they ever were. Which, if I would have looked down the path a little bit and realized there was a Thorns node, I probably would have let one of my teammates go, who's got Black Widow or Electro or somebody who can get around that. But I was just kind of wanting to get some gameplay in and jumped kind of ahead of myself. The plan that I had, and I just ate that S1 there. My plan was in the first 2 minutes to try to do as much damage to him while he was blocking as possible, and then in the last minute kind of do my regular attack and try to get as much damage in as I could. I did use a couple of potions that I had on hand before I went into this fight, but I screwed it up, and once I got hit with that S1 in the face, kind of threw all my plans out the window. Was just trying at this point to get to a special one to hopefully get a decent bleed in, which if I would not have taken that special one damage from Juggernaut, I probably would have been able to finish this fight. You'll see right here, this is the incendiary round, and that thing is ticking for, what is that, over 600, and I think I was enamored by the amount of damage that the bleed was doing, and I just wasn't paying attention. But I edited this video down, or this next fight, because it didn't last long. I ran in, got a couple of hits off, and right there, yeah, you just saw me waste an S2. I just screwed up. I thought he was coming in for a medium attack, and I fired it off thinking that was going to kill him. Anyway, I run it with Winter Soldier. It wasn't even worth showing you. It was one hit and took him down. And then finally, I do get a crack at Mordo, who I almost never see in Alliance Wars for some reason. I know he's a great defender, but this is like one of the very first times that I've actually run up against him, which I would recommend, before you fight a mini-boss Mordo, probably go out and duel one. I should have done that myself. Just to make sure that you've got the timing down right on that stun. Basically, if you're not aware, you can play around his, I can't remember what it's called, but basically if you try to attack him while he is stunned, he's going to break out of the stun and put a degeneration on you. But if you attack him right as the stun is falling off, like right there, which the timing was correct, but he had a special 2 that he used, which that is kind of the risk that you take when you are trying trying to apply that method. So, and then again, there at the end, I've got a degeneration on me. I'm not paying attention to it, trying to bait out a special one, and I just kind of look like a moron there and get myself killed. So there it is again. I am able to get a couple of those timed correctly, which I've got full, I don't remember if it's, I think it's 3 points in the mastery Petrify, which gives an additional half second on your stuns. And that doesn't seem like a lot, but I think this fight really kind of shows what an extra half second looks like. It's actually quite a bit. Obviously, he is not running Limber or very many points in Limber, I should say, and having the extra time does help. You know, as I say that, I do screw that up, and even though I screwed that up, I'm still feeling pretty good here. I'm thinking I'm going to get another stun lock, I think right... Yeah, right here. I'm thinking for sure that I've got him. And there it is again. He got me both times with a special as he came out of his stun. Got me with a special 2 on Winter Soldier and got me with a special 1 there on Vision. But that is where I am going to have to end it. I'm not gonna spend any more revives, at least at this point. I think the alliance we were playing against was a European team because they kind of were all coming in as we were going to bed and vice versa. But they came back with a vengeance. We both managed to get 1 boss down. We did have about 5 more percentage points in the exploration, so thankfully we were able to kind of squeak out the victory there. Yeah, our exploration was what, 5.1% more, and there you are, number 1 MVP, which not like that means anything. I spent I think 1 revive and a couple of potions as well, so I guess if I'm gonna spend that, I probably should be number 1. But it was a good fight. Shout out to the guys over at Virus, which none of them were speaking English, so I don't know what they were saying down in the chat. But look at that, isn't that crazy? There were 4 people at 4.5%. So I don't know if that means that everybody else was seeing themselves at number 1. Maybe I wasn't so special after all. So jump in and grab the rewards, and that is that. Alright guys, I appreciate you sticking around to the end of this video. This is actually quite a long video. I think we're coming up on like 17 minutes or so. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I'm really happy to be able to get back into Alliance Wars and get back into the swing of our gameplay. And if you enjoy these, by all means let me know. I will continue to do them. If not, I will not waste my time. Alright, until the next video guys, take care. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.